Hello everyone. Let's work on this problem together. The Smiths family monthly budget comes out to $2,000 in total, and it is represented by the following table. How much more percentage does the Smith family spend on mortgage than on taxes and medical? Okay, so here they're asking again a percentage question. So we're going to go ahead and set up a percent box. But if you notice, they're asking the difference between mortgage and taxes and medical. So the first thing I'm going to do before I set up my percent box is to figure out that important piece of information. So once again, let's look at our cube strategies. I want to make sure that we know that we did circle or underline. In this case, we highlighted the important information. Once again, we're going to box in the question, so we want to read it twice, make sure we understand what the question is asking. How much more percentage does the Smith family spend on mortgage than on taxes and medical? Okay, so now we are going to elaborate, and I'm actually going to work with my question. And it says, how much more is mortgage than taxes and medical? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get taxes and medical and put those together. That's 240 and 160. So if I put those together, the sum is $400. Okay. Now, for the mortgage, we know that is $500. So how much more are we spending on mortgage than taxes and medical? Well, 500 minus 400 is the difference between the two. So we can do that here. 500 minus 400, there is a difference of $100. So how much more? $100. Now you would say, well, I just answered the question, but we have not answered the question because the question is how much more in percentage. So we know how much more money, but we want to know how much more in percentage. So we're going to go ahead and make our percent box. In our percent box, we're going to have the part and the total. We will have our information in regular numbers, which are the dollar amounts, or in percentage numbers. So all of the information in the table is in dollar amounts. So it's all regular numbers. And what we have is we have our total of $2,000. So we can put that here. Now for percentage, we always know that the total is 100. So in a percentage, the total is 100. So we had discussed about this problem before. $2,000 is the entire budget. So $2,000 represents 100% because 100% is the entire budget. They mean the same thing. $2,000 represents 100%. But what we want to know is how much more they're paying on mortgage than on taxes and medical. So that amount we figured out was $100. And $100 is our regular number. But what we want to know is what percentage that would be. So we're going to go ahead and put our X there so we can figure out the percentage. So now we have everything we need to solve this percent proportion. So we can actually use the cross products directly from our table, which we're going to do now. So x times 2,000 is 2,000x. And that is equal to the cross product 100 times 100 is 1 with 4 zeros, which means 10,000. So now we have a one-step equation, and we can solve our one-step equation. Our one-step equation is 2,000x is equal to 10,000. And we want to solve for x. So we're going to divide by 2,000. If we divide by 2,000, we will get 2,000 divided by 2,000, which will be 1. And that would make 1x, which is what we want because we want to isolate our x. But since we are working with an equation, remember that we have to do the same thing to both sides. Whatever I do on one side, I must do it to the other side. So I'm going to divide 10,000 by 2,000. So I can simplify both of these by dividing them by 1,000. If I divide 10,000 by 1,000, that's going to be 10. If I divide 2,000 by 1,000, that's going to be 2. And I'm left with something very simple to work with. 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And now we know that x was in the percent side of our percent box, so it is 5%. So $100, which was the difference between the mortgage and the taxes and medical, represents 5% of the total budget. So our question said, how much more percentage does the Smith family spend on mortgage than on taxes and medical? The correct answer is F, 5%.